Look forward to
Yeah,
this session. Great.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe having to get
fantastic.
back real soon. But we have obviously ARIC this year as well. So I just confirmed for ARIC, the Australian Real Estate Conference is on in May. And obviously everyone's welcome to come to that. You know, always get free tickets. And that's on the Gold Coast at the Gold Coast Convention Center every year. So I'm just going to quickly start. I think people just jump on. So is there any questions before I start about anything? So Brett's on the Gold Coast. I think, are you kind of new, fairly new?
I think we've met before, Paul.
Oh, Brett, of course. Shit, yes. Yeah, of course we did. Yeah, of course. That's it. So yeah, welcome to Oxbridge.
Okay,
Welcome to Oxbridge.
awesome.
Cool. So there's a few more people jumping back on, and then I'll start the session. So I thought this would be appropriate because given that we've just been awarded top broker of the year as a group on the Outsource. Outsource is one of our 3 aggregators, and I'll explain that a bit later on. But Outsource is our favorite because we have more leverage. And what that means is we're the biggest group within Outsource. Outsource probably has 1,000 brokers. It's called Outsource Financial.
Okay, 1,000 brokers. Yeah.
Yeah, Outsource Financial. You can look it up. Right? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They do good stuff. So this is them. So it's led by a lady called Tanya Sell, and she's phenomenal. She's one of the few female CEOs in the country for any financial service organization, and she's really supportive. We have 2 other aggregators, and they're called Finsure and Connective. Connective is the largest in the country by far. They've got 6,000 brokers. Wow. And we have those aggregators for many reasons, which I'll go through a bit later. But obviously, these guys have helped us, done really well. So an aggregator, basically, as the name suggests, aggregate. So they pull the resource together for the different members. So we're a member of Outsource, and they deal with the lenders. In that way, many lenders don't deal with brokers individually. Otherwise, there's too much problems. There's too many problems. So what they do is they aggregate, and this is just one aggregator. We're doing on board. So that's an aggregator, and the other 2 are Connective and Finsure.
So Connective, and what was that one?
Finsure.
Finsure.
Yeah, I'll record this, and you could.
Sure, I'll listen back. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, Finsure. Finsure. There you go. So Finsure, they're probably, I would say they're in between Outsource and Connective in terms of size and in terms of splits. And that's another very, very important thing that we'll mention later on, the splits given to the brokers. They're very much the same. The aggregators serve the same function. Obviously, they deal with the lenders, and they're like the middleman, the middle people between the brokers and the lenders. And I'll explain that a bit later too. But you know, they provide a CRM. All of them can claim they provide leads, but none they do. And so the leads have to come from somewhere. All right, and then obviously some of them provide outsourced processing. So usually, what they do is have administrators, usually in the Philippines or something like that, or India, and they do the grunt work, the paperwork, the data entry, stuff like that. But we have teams as well within Oxbridge that will help you with that. So we've got a small team in Bali that will look after the administration side of things for you. So if there's any questions, I'll start real quick. For those new to Oxbridge, I've been traveling a little bit, and the reason I've been traveling is trying to build a global network of people. And the reason is very, very simple. Once you have a global network of people, then you can refer all kinds of things into that network, you know, whether it be mortgage, finance, sales, rentals, every single business needs a network. And that's why, you know, the global network is very, very important, you know, for referrals to buy a house in Australia from the US, for example, right? And the real estate market and the finance market is global, right? recently have just been Dubai, exactly the same thing. You know, people go to Dubai, people from Dubai go to the rest of the world. Very, very similar. So if you're new to Oxbridge, you know, I've been trying to grow this network. Within Australia, we probably have 1,000+ people now for agents and brokers. There's a lot of people. And I guess the reason why there's so many people is, number one, you don't have to pay a monthly fee if you don't want to. And that's always been the foundation principle. We certainly don't want to take your money if you're not making money. But there's a lot of other people out there that will do that. You know, it doesn't matter if you're making money or not, they will charge you a monthly fee. And there's obviously the splits as well. And I think we're still probably the highest in the country, both in terms of mortgage broking and in terms of sales. There's other things that we do as well. We also have a development company and also a club. The Oxbridge Club, last year we've gone to a lot of the property expos, so Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney. And those property expos are very, very important because they are aimed at mums and dads, so people that are investing. And we get them to join the club for free. And these become our core buyers of what I call projects, which I'll explain a bit later. But projects are a very, very important source of leads for any mortgage broker, right? And that's Oxbridge in general. We currently also have a lot of people doing rentals as well, and that's another big part of the business. But rentals is obviously 90% split if you want to do it. And again, you know, it's a very easy business, but you need to be able to manage it. Such as mortgage broking too. You know, it's a very, very easy business. You'll see mortgage broking is one of the simplest business in the world, right? The paperwork is all checked by the aggregator. There's people to look over your shoulders. All you have to do is write the loan, and I'll talk about in a second, you know, how to find the leads, how to find loans and stuff like that. But yes, there's a lot of people, and obviously with people comes many different issues. You know, there's tons of stuff that we're trying to perfect and improve on. But there's many things. There's a full member, as you know, you grab your Coffee Club membership card. Outsource is one of the aggregators I was talking about. A few other things as well, but I'll start off with what I call projects, and these projects are just illustrations of how many we've got. We've got a lot of them. As you see if you're on the WhatsApp group, you'll see there's launches every day pretty much on different projects around the country. And the reason why we have so many, number one, yes, is to sell the project, but not all projects sell, you know. Number two, they act as lead gen for us. The idea is the more projects, the more listings you have, certainly the more leads you will get. And I'll show you that in a second. So if I go to my CRM, which if you're an agent, you should have access. And this is just the Australian listings at the moment. And these are on market listings. So we've got 3,831 listings at the moment in the country. And this is just Australia. And these act as great lead gens for us. Right, obviously, you know, a lot of our agents do sell projects, and if you sell projects, obviously it's great commission. But the lead gens are very, very important for mortgage broking. Very, very important. So that's a part of projects. If you haven't encountered projects before, they're very simple. They're just off the market, and the projects are the same around the world. You know, I've been signing up projects in New York and Los Angeles, and it's exactly the same. All developers want to sell. Right, and what they do is they sign up with an agency like us. We've got a lot of people, and it's a numbers game, right? The bigger your database, the more members in your group, the more likely you're to sell a project. So I've been trying to push, you know, Melbourne, for example. I've been trying to push Australia 108, and that has a phenomenal commission. The developer of that development is actually from Singapore, and he's very, very keen to sell those projects. We've got maybe 150 left to sell, and he's given us 8.8% comms plus a 11% rebate commission. So that takes it up to, you know, about 20%, 21%, which is crazy. But anyway, that's why it's very, very important that you understand projects and how that works. And obviously, if you're an agent and a broker, that will give you an advantage in the marketplace because you can do both sides of the deal. Most agents deal with sellers, And most agents, when they get a contract on a property, they forget about all the other buyers. And that's what happens. You get a contract and it's unconditional. People forget the rest. No, thank you. It's on offer. We'll find something else for you. But what people don't realize is every single buyer is a potential mortgage client. And I'll do a live demonstration in a second. So that's some of the things I put in as well. I think Jonathan's on the call today. And there's Jonathan. Anyway, this is the agenda today. Real quick introduction to mortgage broking, getting started, mortgage broking, real estate, lead gen, closing the deal, any Q&As. Probably take half an hour to an hour. I'll be succinct and real quick. So mortgage broking. So number one, mortgage broking is a phenomenal business. I cannot emphasize enough, right? And we have people in Oxbridge that have already done really, really well. And there's people that I can introduce you to, top brokers I can introduce you to that are just kicking some goals, smashing it. And it's not hard. I would say in some respects, it's much easier than real estate in the sense that there's no open homes, there's no Saturday inspections. It's more of they actually need you more than you need them, so to speak. People beg for listings and this and that and trying to discount the commissions. In mortgage broking is the other way around. If you get them to finance, right, you're saving, you're saving their life, literally, trying to buy their first home or trying to refi for another property. And it's a great time to get into mortgage broking because in 2023, this year, a lot of houses are going to be coming back onto what I call variable interest rates, right? They've been coming out of fixed, and as you know, interest rates are going way up, right? So people are going to shop around looking for the best deal, maybe trying to reduce their liability for mortgages. So yeah, so that's the first thing. So mortgage broking, it is a phenomenal business and it is an easy business. And I qualified as a mortgage broker quite a few years ago. And when I first started, it was just leads, and all the rest is just paperwork. Even the application is now done by the borrower, right, by your client. You don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. And it's that easy, and I'll show that in a second how that works in the back end. So yeah, so there's not much to it, right? Compliance side. There's another thing about mortgage broking, it's self-regulated, right? It's regulated by a few people, but obviously ASIC's involved in AFCA and the FBA or the MFAA, the organizations itself. But in general, we have had, there's not many things that can go wrong because you've got the aggregator that will check your work. And they're very, very stringent because obviously if something goes wrong, they lose their license, right? And it affects us as well. In terms of income, that's probably the most important thing to talk about. And this is based on, just a very general example. There are lenders out there that will pay a lot more. There's even 0.8% now. It depends. There's also what's called private finance. So, people that have funds that don't go through the big banks and they pay more commission. And obviously the kicker is the trail commission, and it's a true passive income. It's even better than property management because you don't have to do a thing. You wake up in the morning, there's money in your bank account. So outsource process the payments twice a month. Finsurance Connect is once a month, right? And when they do that, money goes to your bank account, right? You don't have to do a thing. Every time the client or borrower pays, you get paid. It's that simple. The upfronts are very good as well. If you can get upfronts, and here's the thing about mortgage broking, it's national. It's one license, right? And if you feel smart, right, you do that license and go to a state like New South Wales, Victoria, where the borrowing is much, much higher. 750,000 is actually quite small by Sydney or Melbourne standards. You think about Sydney and Melbourne, an average house is what, 1.5 million. Right, it's probably like $1 million. 80% is 1.2, 1.25, right? So if you're clever, you'll probably, start looking at clients in Sydney and Melbourne. And what you have to do is tap into the leads from Sydney and Melbourne, right? Because obviously the properties are more expensive, right? And you don't have to even be there. A lot of the mortgage brokers that we have do things by FaceTime, by Zoom, whatever. The regulation says you have to meet them. You have to see them face to face. And that can include virtual as well, right? And that's the first thing about mortgage broking. So it's national, and it's one license, and the license is so easy. Right. I did it myself. So obviously my answer is a little bit outdated, but I've been trying to update that. But the license, all you need, so just getting started, is we use a course called Certificate 4 in Financial Mortgages. And that is literally a very, very easy course. It's 12 modules compared to the real estate. I think real estate now full license is what, like 30 modules or something. It's crazy. All right, and the modules are very simple, and I've got I would say 90% of the answers. I just need to update a few things. It doesn't change very much. It's exactly the same as when I did it. Pretty much, it's just called different titles now. But the license is very, very easy, very, very easy. So that's the first thing you need to get. So the certificate of mortgage broker is actually quite cheap as well. You know, licenses now are really expensive for real estate, but the REAA charges $275. You can do it yourself. It's really, really easy. I did it probably when I did it. It hasn't changed very much, and I did it a few years ago. It took me probably a month. Right, copying, pasting, you know, rephrasing stuff. It wasn't that hard. Right, you can probably do it in like you feel really, really good, probably a week. You sit there in the library all day, you can do it in a week. Right, and this is what we use. Right. So that's the first thing. So get it started, you need to get that license, and that license, I said, is the fundamentals, but most of the learning is done at work. So once you do that license, you then have to register yourself with a head group like us. So with mortgage broking, the unfortunate thing, I guess, is at the moment, a lot of the mortgage brokers like Mortgage Choice and RAMS and all these people, they charge you for the opportunity to learn from them. Like I know, for example, like Mortgage Choice charges $5,000 a year or something like that, you know, because you do need that 2 years of work experience to become a fully licensed mortgage broker. We never charge anything up front. As you know, you join us for free, you know, you go for it, have fun. You do need to sit the 2-year requirement. So what happens is you'll see like on the calendar, there's always these mortgage training sessions every Friday. So like, for example, today there's one with Heather, and she's the head trainer for Outsource. So what she does is for the new brokers, you have to sit on that course, and it's not every week. It's like, you know, once a month or something. But it is a must attend. All you have to do is show your face on Zoom. You know, you could do other stuff if you want, but she needs to see your face on Zoom. It takes about an hour. Like once a month or something like that, just to make sure you know what you're doing. And plus there's a compliance team as well. When you submit your documents, they will check it, right? And that's the requirement. So 2 years and you become a fully fledged mortgage broker. In that 2 years, because we pay the training for you, the split is 80-80. So what that means is with the mortgage broking, there's a split. Right. So if you go to, I don't know, Mortgage Choice or RAMS or any of these outfits, usually they will obviously split a commission. Now, because you're a mobile broker, we pay much higher commission. For our fully licensed brokers, after 2 years, we pay 90-90. In other words, you keep the trail and you keep the book. And that's the great thing about that. You know, I certainly don't want to take your book. It's your client. It's your book, right? You can sell it. You can take it away. You can do whatever you want with it. With most places, like, you know, they will keep the book. So if you work for RAMS, for example, obviously you become usually independent contractor now, you know, pay your commissions, but usually 70% upfront, and that's it. Most people don't pay you trails because your boss or your director, your principal will keep that trail, and plus they will keep the book, right? Even though it's your client. That's the difference. So after you get your license, you need to register with us, and that's easy. And then we will set you up with an aggregator. So you choose between 3, and it's up to you which one you choose from. But the thing about Outsource is it's free training for you, right? And that's why with new brokers, we always use Outsource, because they provide free training for, at least for the broker. Obviously we pay for it, but you will get free training. And that 2 years is a way for you to write a few loans. Right. You can also choose, between that or Connective. Connective is another one, but there's a small charge they charge you though, and I wouldn't necessarily pay for that if you're new, because you don't know if you're going to be a good broker or not. And certainly, you know, if you're new, don't spend any money up front. Don't spend money if you don't have to, because it's a new business, right? But they will charge you. And I've heard now, you know, even a lot of the aggregators don't take new brokers anymore because business has been booming, right? They don't need, and Connective has 6,000 brokers. They don't need any more brokers, right? We are small fish in a big pond for Connective. And I suppose, you know, with Finsure, we do have more leverage because we're the biggest fish in a very small pond with 1,000 brokers. Right. So that's the second thing you have to do, go through some training, attend the sessions, but the aggregator will take over and run the training sessions with you. So any questions about that? Really, really easy, a few steps. The insurance, we cover the insurance as well for the PI, right? I've just been spending a few days ago, our annual PI expired. So I actually renewed the PI probably on the 15th, but they forgot to add all these names on there, and we have so many brokers, so I had to find out who's active, who's not, and add the names on there manually, and then send it for appraisal. And obviously the premium's gone up a little bit because they're running more volume, but we will pay for your PI, and that's free. All right. So that's easy. So once you get registered, you then have to join an organization. And I always recommend FBAA because it's the easiest and it's the best and the biggest, right? And they do run seminars. Usually you'll see that they've got tons of events. It's all free. It's all free. You can join. Once you become a member, it's all free. You just join the events, they talk about lenders and a whole bunch of stuff. You know, blah, 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 digital success. There's just so many events. And you could join for free, right? And you have to be a member of either the FBAA or the MFAA. But the FBAA is definitely better because all you need is a certificate, not a diploma. So once you've done your registration with the course, as I said, the course is very easy to complete. You know, I'm working. I know there's a few people on the current mortgage broking course. Give me maybe a little time. I just need to make sure the two answers are the same because they've just changed they've just updated the module, unfortunately. Otherwise the answer will be exactly the same. I could just give it to you. But once you've done the REAA course, once you've registered, then you're ready to go. And then what happens is the aggregator will help you accredit with the lenders. Some of the lenders are a little bit picky now, but because we're the biggest in outsource, we have some leverage. You know, we can say, look, you know, Jonathan's a fantastic broker. You know, there's a lot of potential, great real estate agent. You can do really, really well. So CBA, in fact, have now stopped accrediting new brokers because they don't need any more brokers. Right? CBA are so busy at the moment, they don't need any more loans. But with us, you know, we have a little bit more leverage. We can say, look, you know, Jonathan, great broker, fantastic potential. Please accredit him as a new broker under CBA. All right, something like that. So getting started. Okay, so this is probably the most common question I get asked. You know, how do I write deals? You know, how do I do anything? How do I find clients? Okay. All right. So it depends on your strategy. So a lot of people use referrals, right? And as I said, we've got existing referrals already, and there's many sources. Also, this is the back end. This is the members back end. I'll just quickly show you. So they've got, and there's just so many events. There's events like, you know, about lenders. I saw an event recently, just some event about a new broker or something. There's so many events. Once you register, then you need to figure out your strategy. So some people do your straight vanilla resi loans, which is easy. And even within resi, you can focus on different things. So resi, you can do your full doc. So full doc means full documentation. So these are your prime customers, right? Your prime customers. So these are your usually people with a job, right? A good job, stable job, been a job for many years, out of probation, good salary, double income, you know, no kids preferably because that reduces the borrowing capacity, good credit. That's another thing too, credit. I would highly recommend before you go and do this course, download an app called ClearScore. It's free. It's free. So go to App Store, go into your Google and download this app called ClearScore. It's free to check your credit. And I would 100% do that right now for everyone. You register, you then enter your ID, license, passport, whatever. And then within a few seconds, it would spit back a number out of 800, right? That number is very, very, very important for everyone, including yourself. And this is something I've been saying to people. Every single person walking around has a credit score. Not many people realize it, right? But once that credit score is scorched, if you've got some bad credits, you've got a problem, right? And this app, and I've got this app on my phone. Sometimes I tap into it just to see what my current credit score is. Make sure that credit score is above 750, right? 700. Right, the average in the country is about 720, something like that, out of 800. Right, so good credit. If you fall below that, then the range of options are going to be less for you. If you have a default, then it's even worse, right? Sometimes you have a default, you can't even get a mobile phone plan because Vodafone, Telstra, Optus, they all check your credit. Everyone checks your credit, and the credit is a publicly accessible data, right? Equifax, Experian, all these companies provide that. And this is what you should do for your customers as well, right? The first thing I do before I pick up a new customer, so I say to them, look, what's your current credit score? Right? If your credit score is 250, then maybe we need to do something else for you. Maybe we need to get, we have a company that will repair credit. That's another one. If you've got a missed credit card payment, you haven't made your minimum commitment for that month, it shows up in your credit report. And that's the problem. People don't realize that if you don't pay your electricity on time, it shows up in your credit report. And there's ways we can clean the credit somewhat, right? I've actually had a client that was bankrupt. And luckily for this lady, she had to negotiate a special deal with the lender, right? So that they came out of bankruptcy. And that obviously, if you're bankrupt, then you can pretty much forget any type of credit because no one lends you money. Anyway. So that's the first thing, right? Getting started is realize the importance of credit scores, right? Very, very important, including for yourself. And that's one way I've been sort of trying to help people, trying to build wealth. If you want to buy a property or buy a car or anything, any finance, leverage isn't bad. Debt is great. Debt allows you to borrow more money than you can afford. But, you need to have good credit. So the next question I get often asked is, number one, how do I find the leads? Right. This is what I think people should do. And this is just a suggestion, but I'll pick any random listing. So this is an agent in WA. She's smashing it, she's killing it, right? And I hope one day she becomes a broker because she's doing really, really well. Roommate, she's on the call, is she? No. Okay, so Roommate is an agent. So she's just an agent. She's not a broker. But it's so easy for her to become a broker. So what happens is, this is our CRM, and once you become a broker, we'll give you access to it. And this CRM is the real estate side of things. There's another CRM for the broking side, which I can show you right now. And that CRM is also very, very important as well because it allows you to put the deals in, right? And the deals obviously is very, very important. So this CRM for the real estate, it records every single lead that comes in, right? So this is just an example how that works. And that's why the real estate and the finance go really well together because every single buyer, says buyer from Domain, is the lead for the mortgage broking, right? All you have to do is call this guy, Richard, are you interested in property, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's too expensive, right? No problems. Can I please, maybe get you a pre-qualification, a pre-approval for your loan, and maybe we can keep in touch, something like that. And then that's why every single buyer is a potential mortgage broking client, right? So most agents, once they get a contract, forget about all these other people. But it's very, very important because they become your potential future clients. So that's one thing you can do. So obviously build a relationship with an agent, or what we do for people that are not agents, and there's something that I don't think anyone else does. There are things called projects, and there's just so many of them. Some of these projects I'll pick up, I don't know, let's pick up any of these projects. This one is Morayfield. That's a project. It's a really good project. So Morayfield is a suburb, North Brisbane. It's probably a new project. We're going to need leads come in. I'm going to find you a lead. So what you do is you get yourself on a project now, often with an agent, and obviously you become the second agent on the project. Obviously, if you're not an agent, don't talk about the real estate. Let's see if I can find another one. This is a project. This is a project. I can see the address. This is a project in Melbourne. All right, it's another one of our new agents. I've just joined us recently. It's Iconic, as you can see. So the thing about this project is, if you ring up the agent, or if you say to me, hey, you know, Paul, can I please, you know, get a few leads for my mortgage broking? I'll say, yep, no problems. Where are you? Melbourne. And I'll say, no problems. Why don't you jump on the Iconic project? So what we'll do is we'll put you on the project itself. And then you become the second listing person on that project. So these are all potential inquiries. So Eric Zhu inquired on the property. And when the inquiry comes in, if you're the second, inverted comma, agent, right? Obviously not agent, but if you're the second person on the listing, you will get that inquiry straight away, right? And you can see our software allows you to see, it connects to social media. So Eric Zhu, before we even call this guy, we can check out his Twitter, we can check out his Facebook, check out his TikTok, whatever, right? Because that's what the system is designed to do. It automatically finds the email address of this person, which is here, against social media contacts. And so obviously you can know a lot about this guy way before you call this guy, right? So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's a professional or something. But this is what you need to do. If the leads come in on our Iconic, obviously, all you have to do is, obviously don't talk about the real estate because you're not licensed about real estate. You call Eric and you say, look, I'm a mortgage broker. Thank you for inquiring on our Iconic. I'll let the agent do all the work in terms of the sale, but I'm here to help you get the finance, right? You need finance anyway. Even if you don't like the project, we'll sell you something else down the line, but you still need the finance, right? Can we meet up, have a chat, you know, all that kind of stuff, go to a coffee club, you know, and when can I get you pre-approval? And this is one of the biggest sources of leads that you will get. And this is why it's very, very important to have the real estate side with the finance. Most finance brokers find it very, very difficult to get leads. And often it's financial planners or accountants, but often they want a huge referral fee. You know, I've seen accountants charge 40% of the upfront. 40%, that's a huge referral fee. Right here, you know, virtually there's no referral fees. If the agent says, yeah, whatever, I don't care, go for it, have fun. You know, you do the broking, they do the sales. Obviously, this is this project sells, I know for a fact, pays a lot of commission because our Iconic, we've sold a few here. I think it's 7.7, but you do the mortgage broking and you go for it, right? And there's tons and tons of these listings, tons and tons of leads. And that's why, you know, the mortgage broking and the real estate go very, very well together because, you know, most real estate agents are just real estate agents. Most mortgage brokers are just real estate brokers. But if you combine the two, it's a very, very powerful combination. Okay. Any questions about anything at all so far? About anything that I can answer? No. Yeah. So this is lead gen, you know, 101. So obviously, and then the other thing about lead gen is projects are, these lead gen are the best lead gens you can get. Here's another thing about mortgage broking. Yes, you can have referrals for accountants and financial planners, but a lot of them are long term. You know, they're not going to buy a property, you know, now. These inquiries are your buy inquiries. These guys want to buy, right? These guys want to buy, right? And just remember, for mortgage broking, you will not get paid unless the property settles, right? So if you've got a client that sits there for 3 years getting a pre-approval usually lasts 3 months, you know, 3 to 6 months, right? And so they're not going to be, if you don't buy within that 3 or 6 months, right, you've lost that opportunity, right? So you want clients that are ready to buy because that's the only way to get paid, right? This is another, this is actually a developer, actually. Grant is a developer / agent, you know, he's a phenomenal developer down in Newcastle. And he's good, you know, I don't think he's even a mortgage broker. You know, someone can approach Grant and say, hey, can I get your listings? Can I be on your listings? Obviously, I'm not going to talk about real estate. It's your development, you know, and he's done really, really well. This guy sells crazy a lot of stuff. And you can see he gets leads. He gets leads left, right, and center, right? I think this is probably just one domain. He probably hasn't paid for the REA. Yeah, I don't know. So he gets leads, right? And all you have to do is sit there and pull these leads or email them. You can actually email these people as well, right? This guy's paid some advertising, right? So you can say, you know, I'm gonna email these people, 378 people, right? Email them, send an email, right? And then say, look, you know, can I help you with the finance? My name is this and this, you know, I'm in Newcastle, I'll call you, whatever, right? And that's kind of the idea. Any questions? Oh, okay. That's easy. All right. So that's how you get leads, right? Obviously, you can start building referrals just like real estate. You know, you can build referrals with plumbers, with accountants, financial planning organizations, whatever. Right. But I think the best leads are still your real estate leads because number one, it's live, right? You get them as inquiries come in. Number two, these guys are ready to buy, right? These are buyers. They're not going to be sitting around for the next 3 months, right? Because they want to buy. Otherwise, they wouldn't inquire. The broking site itself, this is the software that I can see. And then obviously here, this is just my, we're the head group. Oxbridge Investment is another company that it's the head group that we have. And we have a lot of brokers at the moment. And just to give you a typical example of how broking works, it's so easy. So, for example, once you get a lead, let's pick any lead. Say we got this guy here, you know, Trisha. Trisha now wants to buy this property in Newcastle, and that's just remember, right? You don't need to be in Newcastle. You can call hey Trisha, you know, my name's Paul. I am in Perth at the moment. I know I'm in Perth, but you know what? I've done a lot of broking deals for our clients within Oxbridge. Is there something I can help you with? And then she'll probably say, okay, you know, look you up on LinkedIn and look up your profile, make sure you're legit. And that's another thing too. Once you're a mortgage broker, make sure your profile is active online, on social media, that kind of stuff, right? So you call Trisha, you put in her details, it becomes a deal, right? A lead, or that's another thing too. As I said, you can specialize in other aspects of finance. Finance is a huge field. You can specialize in car loans. Car loans is nice and quick. I don't know if you know this, it's very, very easy to get a car loan. Even people with very, very bad credit record, because I think the lenders consider it an essential item and they literally just give out loans left, right, and center, right? The commission is obviously not as big, but it's easy, it's quick, right? Everyone needs a car. So I'll show you how it's done. It's very, very easy. I'm going to put in the lead, right? So this lead, I basically copy and paste, right? Copy, paste. That's right. Add new lead, right? So I'll copy and paste this lead, put that stuff in there, blah, 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 name, you know, phone number, clients, you know, what kind of clients, or is it a referrer, you know, blah, 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 deal, you know, new lead, how much money she wants, where's she buying, is there a partner I have to pay out, you know, there's no deferral partner, great, you keep all the pumps, right? This is the killer, I suppose, you know, it's so easy. Once you put this in, right, all you have to do is you now send it to her to fill out the rest. And obviously, you know, you could help her do it, you know, but it's very simple. So all you have to do is I'm going to go do a deal. I'll show you something that one that I've already done. Let's pick up some random one I've done. Put this on here. Okay, so this is one that's in progress at the moment. I gave that to one of our brokers that just joined us. You know, she's a client that we picked up. I don't have the time to do it myself, so I said, Patricia, look after this one. So she's already done it. So at the moment, she's trying to get a pre-approval real case, right? Real case, right? Great client, works for a great company, great salary, nice and stable. This is an easy case, great credit score, no problem. This will come back in 5 seconds, a pre-approval. She obviously needs to find a property, blah, 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 which is where an agent can come in. So this is what you have to do. So I'm not going to do it, but you can share the details, right? You can share that, blah, blah, blah. All right. So by sharing these details, it allows her to complete the application online herself, right? And it's a 3-step process. You know, it verifies the ID automatically, upload all the documentation, the employment contracts, the bank statements. We have an application where we verify people's bank accounts. So lenders now don't allow submission of bank accounts. We go through a third-party software which hooks up to the bank account so that the bank account is true and genuine, because obviously there's been cases in the past where people upload fake bank account details and statements, all that kind of rubbish. And that's illegal, by the way. Don't do that. It's fraud. But anyway, so it's really easy. You know, she signs it. It's a multiple step process. You can see, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, settlement done, right? So it can't get any easier than that, right? And the step, you can see, you know, I think Patricia's done a really good job. Yeah. So she's already added in documents here, pay slips, blah, 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 driver's license. And now I think it's now down to it's now down to pre-approval stage. So now I think we're trying to find out a lender, right? And then that's up to her, up to us. Obviously, we have the ability to look at different rates. And that's another thing about mortgage broking. Every single lender has a BDM, so it's a contact you can call. And every single BDM, their KPI is to do deals, right? All the lenders compete for your deal, right? Especially a client like this, you know, top premier client, right? Good salary, stable income, great job, good credit record, get approved in 5 seconds, right? And the BDM will do everything to help you. So, you know, sometimes this one's easy, but sometimes you get different cases like, you know, it's not a premium client. It's a business owner with a 1-year-old business, right? And that's called low doc, right? Low documentation. You don't have the full set of financial for 2 years. You've only got 1 year. You've been trading for 1 year. You got good profits, right? And you can still do the loan. You know, it's easy. Low doc is easy as well. You do the loan, low documentation. Some lenders even allowed to self-declare your income. In other words, to send you a DocuSign, you tell me how much you're earning in terms of net profits, right? And if that's true, then we will give you the loan, no problems. Some lenders also rely on an accountant's letter, right? And that's another thing too. Low doc are obviously slightly more riskier for the lenders, and therefore a high interest rate. But you know, it's pretty easy to do, believe it or not. Right? It's really quite simple. And so if you're encountering a case like that, you call the BDM is more than happy to help you because they want the deal done as well. So you have all these people helping you trying to get the loan across. Plus the aggregator also has someone, his name is Paul Marshall. Queensland, there's a different guy in Victoria and New South and WA, but all these BDMs within the aggregator is also happy to help you. And also obviously Oxbridge is also happy to help you. You know, if you send us a support ticket, you know, how do I do this? We can then reply and say, it's easy. This is what you do, right? So the actual lead gen, the referrals is easy. The actual deal broking is also very, very easy as well, because it's a step process and this is going to integrate a DocuSign as well, right? You send it a document, it comes back. So a few things you have to get assigned: a privacy policy, a consent form, obviously a consent to check their bank accounts through a third-party software called Inunium. There's a whole bunch of stuff, right? The credit check automated as well. Once you submit that, it then goes out to the lenders and it looks at it, you know, ask you a few questions, blah, blah, blah. You then get a conditional approval, and that's pre-approval stage. Once they find a property, you load the property in, right? It goes unconditional. The loan docs gets issued by the solicitors. The client goes and signs those loan doc, and then when it settles, it's done, right? It's that easy. When it settles, you get that that first chunk of the commission, like practically within 24 hours, right? And obviously the trails come in. And once you get a few of these, then, you know, you are on your way to earning really, really good income. And I would never work for someone as an employee. The reason is the trails itself, once you get 10 loans, you know, that would be more than enough to cover your living expenses, right? You don't need to work for someone to have stupid KPIs, right? You can work for yourself, because at a 90% split, 90-90, that's a really high split. You go for it, right? And so in general, I mean, the writing part is really easy. And plus, you can even use the aggregator's admin to help you. They can enter detail. But now with the software, everything is really easy because the client does most of the work themselves because they're motivated to get the loan, right? Unless you have a client that's technically not very savvy, then you probably have to sit down with them and go through the whole thing with them, upload documentation for them, that kind of stuff. But even that's okay, right? That's why this year there's going to be a lot of people using mortgage brokers because everyone wants to do a refi. A refi is even easier. Right, a refi, remember, you don't even need to find a property. A refinance means they've already got existing property, you need to find them a better deal, or they want to cash out, their property value has gone up. Instead of 60% LVR, they want 80%. So that 20% LVR, they can cash out, and that's even easier. Same thing, all you do is load into the system, get them to fill in the documentation, upload documentation, accountant's letter, that kind of stuff, right? Hit submit. Right, that goes to the aggregator to check. Firstly, make sure you've done the right process, make sure the ID is correct, make sure you've entered the right details, and then it comes back from the lender as a conditional approval, right? And then when it's ready, you can settle that. The money gets paid to them as a cash out, right? And that so refi is another huge aspect of mortgage broking because a lot of people want cashing out. And that's one of the best ways to build wealth is to buy a property and just leave it. Don't sell anything, just leave it, get a tenant in there. Once the property goes up, don't sell it, refi, right? Always refi, don't sell, because you take that money and that's your next deposit for your next property. Right. Is there anything I can answer about anything? So closing the deal. With mortgage broking, I found personally myself, closing the deal is much easier than real estate. Real estate buyers handle debt, right? Over $100 and over furniture sometimes. Whereas in mortgage broking, I find closing deals really easy because they just need that. They need it more than a buyer will go, oh man, I'm not going to buy this property because of building and pest or something, right? Because I don't like the report. But in mortgage broking, they need, like Sylvia, for example, I know her personally, she needs this deal. She needs it done, right? She needs to buy a property. She just needs it because she doesn't do it. She's getting too old and, rates go up and property prices are going up, right? At this time in her life, she just needs to buy a property, any property, just get it done, right? Otherwise, things are becoming more expensive. Any questions about anything at all I can answer today? I haven't done many PowerPoint slides, but I just talk through the whole thing. It's better to show you. There's a whole bunch of tools. Maybe I'll go through this real quick, and then you could. Any questions? Just jump in, shout. But there's a whole bunch of tools. Like these are the different steps. It's very, very easy. This is Elion. Elion is the software I was talking about that checks the bank account statements. Right. We also have an Equifax plugin as well that checks people's credit score and a whole bunch of stuff. Right. So it's really, really easy. Anything I can answer about anything?
Which other aggregators do we use apart from outsource?
We use Connective.
Yep.
And Finshore.
Finshore and Connective, yeah.
Yeah.
And the splits are the same or different with the different aggregators?
Different splits. So the highest at the moment is 1990 with outsource, and they have a very, very, as I said, the training is free. If you're a new broker, the training is free. But Connective is more, it's about this. So Connective has a thing about splits. Now, obviously, it depends on your volume. Most new brokers are not going to get 95%. Right. Because and that's why the monthly is about the same. It's about $140, $150, something like that. But Connective has this thing about volume. It's not based on group volume, it's based on your volume. Right.
Individual volume, is it?
Yeah, individual volume. But because Connective has 5 seats, I've got 5 seats per account. Right. The other one is Finshore. Finshore has a very expensive monthly fee. I don't know why, but it's just so expensive. But Finshore is useful for people that are very, very experienced and that are running good volume. And it's about the training. The lenders are very similar. most of the lenders, the big ones are all the same, all the different panels, right? So we've got Finsure, Connective, and Outsource.
Okay, and what will be the monthly fees we are looking at with the outsource?
Outsource is $140 or something, all right, plus GST. Connective is about 100, I think 150, I think it was something like that. 150, yeah, 150 plus GST. And Finsure is a lot more. Finsure is like 350.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the reason why Finsure, I think they claim to have the best training, but I think there's, I don't know. I mean, broking is not that difficult. Once you get trained up, you probably don't need that much training, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the biggest by far is Connective, by far. And I think Connective are now are not taking any more people without a diploma because they've just got too many brokers. Unless you'll belong to a head group, right? So you can join Connective directly too. There's no problem.
Yeah,
So you can
actually,
do that yourself.
I have attended a few of the seminars with Connective, and their Mercury software is quite good compared to others, to be honest with you. Very friendly and very easy to use.
Yeah. They've got what's their software called? Mercure, something like that.
Mercury, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's up to you what you do, but different. If you're a new aggregator, I definitely recommend Outsource. If you're experienced aggregator, experienced broker, then you have more choices. Yeah.
And another thing I would like to know, like, for example, I would like to register myself with Oxbridge, but can I be a corporate rep
Yes.
rather than having the sole trader?
Yes, definitely. So on our insurance certificate, I've had, as you know, we have many brokers. A lot of the brokers have companies.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of brokers have company trusts, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
as trustee for blah, blah, blah. And that happens a lot. And I think people do it for many reasons. Tax, asset protection is another one. I had 0 cases of any serious problems. Like no one's been reported to ASIC or the police,
Yeah.
but just beware, obviously, if you're fraudulent, then yeah, that could be a problem. 100%. Yeah. But no one's had any problems within Oxbridge thus far.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
are you working towards like for example, to begin with, we don't have that much volume, to be honest with you, but like after a couple of months or maybe a year time, if we have a good volume, do we consider like 95 splits or 100 or something like that?
Yeah,
with,
100%.
outsource?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. One of our top brokers last year wrote nearly $100 million worth of loans, and the commission on that was like $450 or something per year. It's a lot of money. 100%. Yeah. So obviously, it's in the best interest of the aggregator as well to retain good brokers, and obviously us as well. So yeah, I mean, everything's negotiable. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. And do we have to deal directly with the outsource, or do we need to deal with you? How does that
Well, as a group, it's probably easier to go together and speak to the CEO. Because as I say, outsource, we have a lot of leverage. I've had, without disclosing any names, I've had, one broker who did something. It wasn't his fault, but it was just stupid anyway. So I had to, to bite it in the bud before it goes to ASIC. And the aggregator helped us a lot just to say, look, it's just terrible misunderstanding, blah, blah, because the client was not very happy. And I said, look, it's just a misunderstanding. It's all good. Yeah. Things like that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. Any other questions I can answer? I think hopefully gives you some
idea.
Yeah.
I had a quick query there, Paul.
Yeah, Brett.
You're right, Rhonda.
Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
It was just about the national license when you were saying, because I haven't quite finished my license in Queensland yet. I've got my Cert 4 in mortgage broking, and looking to join Oxbridge. So yeah, I was looking at my question was about the national license opposed to say the Queensland license.
Yeah, there's no state-based. So are you doing through IEAA or which institution are you doing through? It really doesn't matter. That certificate is nationally recognized. Sure. Okay. Yeah. So it's not state by state like real estate. You don't have to go through fair trading or consumer affairs or that rubbish. It's just one certificate. and you lodge
Sure.
that with FBAA, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. You just need to get an ACR, a credit rep license number. Once you have that through us, then you're ready to go.
Okay. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And under the sorry, one
yeah.
more question. Under the one CRN, how many people can access the software?
Under the one CRM, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to share the password? Is that what you mean, or do you want to?
I want to share
unlimited.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlimited. Yeah. So you can have millions and millions. You pay that one monthly fee. You're not supposed to share. Just be careful. Proxy broking.
Yeah.
The proxy broking is like like selling real estate without a license. There's a serious fine for that. Obviously, if you are doing the broking for someone else, you're not a licensed mortgage broker, that's a serious fine under ASIC. Because just be careful. They can put the data entry, they can do everything, but you're the person that needs to speak to the client. You're the person that needs to sign off, right?
No, that's what initially I started my finance business first, and then I'm going into the real estate. So for the data entry and stuff, I have my PA who is doing everything for me. So I just want to know, I have two PAs, so they can access my portal or not.
Yeah. No, you can definitely do that. I mean, whoever is doing that for you is not a problem. They can do anything else except for the interview, seeing the clients, and then signing off. Yeah, it's like real estate. You can do anyone can do the form listing forms, but someone that signs has to be licensed. Yeah,
too easy.
Yeah, very cool. So I was hoping that that's very helpful for anyone that wants to maybe look at mortgage broking. But I think it's your own business. You go for it. But it is a good business because we've had several people within Oxbridge that are doing quite well. They don't really need a job anymore because with the trails, as I said, you keep that trail, you keep that book, right? With the trails, it's more enough to replace a salary, 100%.
Awesome, Paul. Cheers. Got a lot of notes there. Thank you.
Very welcome. I hope I wasn't too overwhelming, too much work, but
no, it's great.
Okay, good stuff. No more questions.
Paul, this is Matt here. How are you going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I think I just need to maybe touch base with you. I just need some help to get going. I've already got my Cert 4 and my diploma. I'm almost coming up to my 2 years period that is required. And I think I've been a member of Oxbridge now for probably more than 12 to 18 months. I just haven't really been active, but from this month onwards, I'd like to be fully active. I think we chatted a while ago. I've also got my full license for Queensland. I've got my full license for Victoria, and I also got a Class 1 license for
all the license in the world.
And I think now this month is really where I need to get into it full time, and I wanted to just touch base with you to see how it can get going. I struggle to get onto the projects, and I need some guidance and some assistance to get onto the projects.
No problem. We could do it. Maybe give me a call or can run to a Zoom session. 100%. Matt, you're in a really good position. Most people in Oxbridge are struggling to get a full license. I've got people that are struggling to get a full license. You've got every single full license in every single state. and a diploma, right?
Yes.
I think it's time to use that. So
I'm ready to do that, and that's why I thought let's touch base. I'll give you a call maybe a bit later on. If that's okay.
Give me a call.
I just need to get some traction to get going. I'm ready to get into it full time now. Yeah.
Easy. That's easy, man. With your qualification and background, no problems. 100%.
Fantastic.
100%.
Paul,
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Rhonda here.
Hi.
With Outsource, when you're doing that first 2 years mentoring, are you receiving your trails as well?
80/80.
That is 80/80.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the next step, how do you get the mentor letter from Outsource?
So all the mentors are online. As I said, Heather does a weekly session. So you have to attend.
Sure. When you join the FBAA, they ask for the mentor letter. So we just approach them to get that. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, we have that too. Yeah, you can do it in Oxbridge or within Outsource, but that's free though. Usually Yeah, usually what happens, like Connective, here's an example. Connective, you join Connective, right? To get a mentor, you have to pay someone to be your mentor or share a massive split. Happens
Yeah,
a lot. Whereas,
I actually like all the outsource group. I've been to a couple of their seminars when they had one in Brisbane recently. I find them really easy and supportive. So that's good.
yeah, it's not too big and it's not too small either. I kind of like that. If you're too big, you're just a number.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay, thank you. I hope
okay.
you're enjoying your trip.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. I will see you very soon. Those will be recorded. I'll share it around shortly.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.